What's going on, guys? Today I'm back with another hat format replay review for you guys. If you're interested in sending in your hat format replays, you can go down to the video description and find all the information on how to go about sending those in. Anyways, the match I have for you today, we have Sam Mann, who is going to be on Obedient Schooled Ojama. It's a pretty cool deck, and it's a deck that I've dabbled in the past, and, eventually I do want to do a deck profile on it, but for the time being, I've kind of put it on the back burner. It's a cool deck, and it's very similar to the Raccoon Ojama deck, and their opponent is going to be Darwin Dawkins 09, who is going to be on, I believe, Mythic Ruler, so this should be a very interesting match, and without further ado, let's get straight into it. So here we will see Sam starting this one out. Opening hands, we see Ojama Country, Solemn Warning, Ojama Red, Effect Veiler, and Ojama Blue. And on the other side, we see Redox, Upstart Goblin, Forbidden Lance, Dragoonity Corseska, and Dragon Shrine. And here Sam will get a draw for turn, getting another copy of Ojama Red. I'm going to quickly go over these Ojama cards as a lot of people probably aren't familiar with them. We first have Ojama Country. This says once per turn, you can send one Ojama card from your hand to the graveyard, special summon one Ojama monster from your graveyard, and then while you control an Ojama monster, switch the original attack and defense of all monsters on the field. And then Ojama Red says when this card's normal summon, you can special summon up to 4 Ojama monsters from your hand in attack position. And Ojama Blue is very, very strong. It says when this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can add 2 Ojama cards from your deck to your hand. So this is basically your main searcher. But anyways, starting out this turn, it looks like Sam is going to set that copy of Ojama Blue and the warning and pass it over to Darwin, who is going to draw a copy of Title. From here, they're going to go Upstart, getting a copy of Soul Charge, going Dragon Shrine, dumping Blue Eyes, and a copy of Whitestone to then add another copy of Blue Eyes from deck to hand. After that, they are going to go for a Soul Charge play, getting Blue Eyes and the copy of Whitestone here. And from there, they are going to synchro into a copy of Azure and use the ability, making so that, let me just double check, if this card's special summoned until the end of the next turn, neither player can target dragon monsters you currently control with card effects. Also, they cannot be destroyed by card effects. So from here, it looks like they are then going to just set the lance and pass it over to Sam, who gets another copy of Ojama Country. And from here, they're going to take a second to think. They're going to summon Red, use the effect to special 1 copy of Red from hand. Unfortunately, they don't have more Ojamas, but here they can go for a copy of Sendayu, activate the Ojama Country, flip the Ojama Blue, and now because they control an Ojama, all monsters on the field are going to have their attack and defense switched. After that, it looks like the Sendayu is going to activate its effect to summon a token, and it's going to have the attack and defense of the highest monster on the field. Or I guess I should say just the attack. The defense will stay 0, but it'll be whatever the highest attack is. So obviously, because the Azure has 3,000 defense, but because of Country, it's going to have 3,000 attack. So the token will be at 3,000 attack here. And they are going to go to battle phase because, keep in mind, again, this now has 25 defense. And in damage step, Lance is going to be able to be activated, so Sam is going to take a little bit of damage here, and the Azure Eyes will get to stay on the field. After that, it looks like they're just going to pass. Darwin gets a copy of Soul Charge, and in the standby phase, Azure is going to use its ability, trying to summon back that copy of Blue Eyes, but that is going to be met with the Solemn Warning. From here in main phase, Soul Charge is going to be able to be activated, going for the copy of Azure Eyes, Blue Eyes, and Whitestone. So basically doing what they did last time, and then here again, because this card was special summoned, it's going to have that protection ability here, and it kind of interesting, I guess they are holding this Veiler here, not wanting to use it on the Azure Eyes, as I guess the protection doesn't really matter because of what's on board. The Ronin has the ability that while you control a beast-type monster, this card can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, so it has a bit of protection, and they kind of want this Ojama Blue to be destroyed. And from here, it looks like Redox is going to activate, banishing the Title and Blue Eyes from hand to summon itself. And after that, the Title will be able to add a copy of that White Dragon, special summoning it, and overlaying into a copy of Giant Grinder. And from here, it looks like the Gimmick Puppet is going to be activated to pop the token. And then after that, it's going to activate again, attempting to pop the copy of Sendayu, which is, again, it's protected in this exact situation. And I guess they didn't realize that, so next going for a copy of Scrap Dragon, and because the white stone leaves the field, they get to add a copy of Blue Eyes. After that, using Scrap Dragon and getting rid of the Giant Grinder, popping the Ojama Blue. And they're going to take a second to think, and that does resolve, and because it wasn't destroyed by battle, they won't get the ability there, which is very good. And then passing turn, obviously they had Soul Charge. Sam gets a copy of Upstart Goblin, and they're going to activate it, getting a copy of the Fabled Cerebel, which is really good if they, are able to pair it with some of these other cards. They can discard the country they have to use the country that's on field to bring back one of the Ojamas, and they can just crash it. They have a lot of life left, or they can just use it as a level 2 and then go for a Cerebral play. So they do have options here. They are going to do that, bringing back Ojama Red here, and then using the copy of Sendayu. Again, everything's attack and defense is swapped here. So here they get a 3,000 token, and then after that, they are going to bring, or I guess they normaled the Cerebral there, going for another copy of Sendayu, using the effect here, and getting another token. And from here, this one has 28. The attack and defense are swapped, so this should be 3,000 if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check this effect. You could detach material from this card, special summon 1 token. Its attack becomes equal to the current attack of the highest attack monster on the field. So I believe this should be a 3,000 because the token is a 3,000 if I'm not mistaken there. Not entirely sure why this is at 28. Did they maybe think that this is only the opponent's monster or something? Or maybe this doesn't count as original attack for the token? And in that case, it would be, 28 because they don't have an Ojama on the field at the moment. So the attack and defense aren't swapped via the Ojama country. Regardless, Sam is in a very good position. They're going to go to battle phase and run over the Azure Eyes. And then after that, the token is going to run over the Scrap Dragon, and then they're going to attack in with both copies of the Sendayu over to Darwin, who gets a copy of Blaster. That is a good draw, and they do have plenty of fodder in Graveyard, so let's see what they end up doing. Here they are going to use Redox, banishing 2 to summon itself back, and after that, they're going to use the Blaster to banish 2 and summon itself out. After that, overlaying for a copy of Draco Sack, and then, maybe not. I think they meant to go for the Big Eye there. So going for Big Eye, and here the Veiler is going to meet the Big Eye, and Darwin is going to just scoop it up there. So moving on into game number 2, Darwin will get to start this one out. Opening hands, we see Debunk, Ojama Red, Soul Charge, Instant Fusion, and Maxi. And on the other side, we see cards of consonants, trade in Title, Soul Charge, and Flamevel Guard. Here they will draw a Sacred Sword of 7 stars for turn. So pretty decent draw there. They're going to go for cards of consonants, discarding Flamevel Guard, drawing into Tree Dragon and Upstart. After that, activating Upstart, getting a copy of Blue Eyes, which is very good since they have that trade in there. And then they're going to use the trade in, drawing a copy of DNA Surgery and Burial from a Different Dimension, then using the Sacred Sword, banishing the Title, drawing into a trade in and White Stone of Legend, and then the Title will trigger to get a copy of Mythic Water Dragon, which they do have the trade in if they wanted to go for, but here it looks like they are going to go for the Mythic Tree Dragon, and then it says actually on the summon of the Tree Dragon, it looks like Sam is going to use that Max C. And as a result, it looks like instead Darwin is going to go for the trade in, getting rid of the Water Dragon, drawing into a Dragon Shrine and Skill Drain. Skill Drain very strong against the Ojama deck. After that, activating Dragon Shrine, sending a Flamevel Guard and a copy of Tempest. And then here, just setting to playing it very conservatively because they don't want to play into Max C. And here Sam gets a copy of Junk Synchron, alrighty? So they're going to summon Junk Synchron, and Skill Drain is going to be flipped, which is unfortunate, but they can go to battle phase and run over that Mythic Tree Dragon. And after that, they are going to go Instant Fusion, getting a copy of Ojama Knight. And Darwin's going to think for a second, and here Sam is going to go for Beals. Very cool to see that, obviously working well with the Dark Tuner in Junk Synchron, and then the Ojama Knight just being a level 5 means easy access to Beals, especially under Skill Drain. Just having a big body is very important. Setting the copy of Debunk and passing it over to Darwin, who gets another copy of Skill Drain. Not really that great here, but they are going to go for Tempest, banishing 2 to summon it, and from here they're going to normal summon Whitestone, Synchro into a copy of Stardust, which is pretty good here, and then they're going to use Burial to return the banished dragons, go for a soul charge play, going for 4, very big play here, going for Tidal Tempest, Water Dragon, and Blue Eyes. You know, they are getting low on life here. They're going to overlay for a copy of Dracosac, probably going to tribute it for cost just to pop the Beals here, which is exactly what they're going to do, setting the other skill drain and passing it over. Here, Sam drew a copy of Obedience School, which is a great draw in this exact scenario. So let's see how they choose to go about this turn here. They are going to activate that Obedience School, summoning Ojama Blue, Raikou, and Fabled Cerebral. And then their DNA Surgery is going to be flipped, calling Dragon. So everything is going to be switched to Dragon, kind of locking them out of any of the Beast extra deck that the Ojama deck can go into, or the Raccoon deck in general. Even though, again, we aren't really seeing Raccoons, it's more so the Obedience School just having synergies with the Beast's Ojama monsters and the couple other generic Beast monsters that this deck usually plays. Here, it looks like they are going to go into a copy of the Fabled Unicorn, which, unfortunately, you know, usually this is a very strong card, but in this exact situation, under Skill Drain, it's not really going to do that much, but it does have 2300 attack, so they can go and attempt to run over this Water Dragon, which is going to work. Ojama Blue is going to crash into the Blue Eyes so that it can trigger getting a copy of Ojama Country and Ojama Blue. And then from there, they're just going to set the copy of Ojama Blue, set a Soul Charge as a bluff, and they're going to activate the Ojama Country using the effect discarding the Ojama Red to summon back another copy of Ojama Blue just as defense. And now, because of having an Ojama on the field, the attack and defense of everything is going to be swapped over to Darwin, who gets a copy of Foolish Burial, a very strong draw here. And they are going to switch the Blue Eyes to attack, use the copy of Tempest, banishing 2, and summoning out that copy of Tempest. And then here they are using Debunk on the copy of Tidal. So then Foolish is going to be able to be activated. Again, keep in mind the Fabled Unicorn's effect is negated because of Skill Drain. If not, in this exact situation, the copy of Foolish would be negated. But here they are dumping a copy of Blaster. Next, they're going to use the Blaster, banishing 2 and summoning it out. So now they have a very big field. They are going to attack over the Fabled Unicorn, and then the Tempest is going to attack over the set Blue, adding a copy of Ojama Country and Ojama Blue. And after that, the Stardust can run over the other Ojama Blue, which is not once per turn, getting a copy of Ojama Red and Country. And I guess one other thing to note is Ojama Country is a soft once per turn. So if you activate another one of it, then you can use the discard effect again, which is kind of cool. And then it looks like they are attacking directly with the Blaster. Here, Sam is going to get a copy of Soul Charge. And they're going to take a second to think. They're going to activate Soul Charge, bringing back just the Beals as a defender, but now they only have 200 life left, so it's not looking good. And usually the Mythic Ruler deck does play, you know, 2 copies of Dracosac, or even, did they use it? Yeah, okay, this was the game where they went for Dracosac, so maybe they have another copy, but even if not, there's a lot of ways around getting rid of this copy of Beals here. Anyways, it looks like they are just setting 1 and passing, and here they do have the other copy of Dracosac, so they're going to summon it. And keep in mind, I guess, also for that game that the Dragon Rulers aren't bouncing the hand, again, because of Skill Drain. So this is going into a game number 3, and Sam will get to start this one out. So opening hands, we see Tuning, Obedience Schooled, Ojama Country, Maxi, and Soul Charge. And on the other side, we see Corseska, Debris Dragon, Rivalry. That's going to be very strong in certain situations if they try to go for a tuning play. The Soul Charge and Upstart Goblin here, Sam draws into another copy of Maxi. They are going to use that Obedience School, going for Raikou, Ojama Blue, and the Fabled Cerebral. And here they are going to be locked into Beast-type monsters for the rest of the turn because of that. Here going for a copy of Fabled Unicorn, activating Tuning, and getting a copy of Junk Synchron, and then milling the top card being a copy of Ojama Country. Now, keep in mind, Obedience School says that their effects are negated. Also, they're distributing the end phase. For the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters except Beast monsters. So here they are able to still normal summon the Junk Synchron, but they just can't special summon anything except Beasts. So here the Junk Synchron is going to trigger, bringing back the copy of Raikou and then overlaying into a copy of Sandaiyu, using the Sandaiyu to get a token, and here it is going to be 2300 attack, and over to Darwin, who gets a copy of Whitestone. Okay, and so they are going to go for Upstart, getting a copy of Redox, setting a couple cards, normal summoning the copy of Whitestone, And then using Redox, here Maxi is going to be chained, banishing 2, and they're just making sure that the effect resolves, which obviously, because it's banishing for cost and stuff, then it will be able to resolve because they won't have this like an equal number here. And so Redox is going to get summoned here. And here, Sam drew a copy of MST off of the Max C. After that, Darwin is going to synchro into a copy of Scrap Dragon, and Sam gets a copy of Raikou. From here, the White Stone will add a copy of Blue Eyes, and then they will go battle phase just to run over the Unicorn here, but they are very low in resources. They do have the Rivalry, which can be good, especially since this Junk Synchron is on board, and they do have a Soul Charge as follow-up if need be, but they don't have a lot of gas going for them. So over to Sam, who draws a copy of Ojama Blue for turn. They're going to use the Sandaiyu and summon another token, this time at 28. After that, they can normal summon the Raikou, and they see that a synchro play is probably brewing there. So the Rivalry is going to get flipped. After that, Country's activated, discarding blue to bring back blue. And they're going to overlay into another Sandaiyu, which they can use the effect, getting another token. Again, just very big token, switching everything to attack, crashing the token into the Scrap Dragon, and then pushing for a lot of damage. Obviously, Sam could have flipped or activated the MST on the Rivalry, but there wasn't really a reason to use that. They'd rather use it on, say, a future skill drain or something. And here, it looks like Darwin only has 900 life left, so here Sam will set the MST in main phase 2 and pass it over. Here Darwin gets a copy of Upstart, which they are going to activate, drawing into a copy of Mythic Tree Dragon, which is something, but it's still not too much. And here it looks like Darwin is just going to scoop it up, so Sam does take it with this cool Obedient School Ojama deck. And yeah, no, I mean, very impressive showing and a very good attempt from Darwin here, but unfortunately they just couldn't clutch it out. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it, comment any questions or videos you want to see in the future, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get notified anytime I put a new video out, share this video with your friends, and don't forget to go down to the video description to find out how you can send in your hat format replays. Whether you won or lost, if you thought the deck you or your opponent was playing was pretty cool, feel free to send it in. I'm sure everyone would love to see it. But anyways, guys, I will see you in the next video.